Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elects 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elects 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elects 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elects 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elects 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elects 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elects 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elects 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elects 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elects 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elects 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elects 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elects 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elects 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elects 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elects 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elects 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time. Nigerians elect 28 state governors, 993 state lawmakers. Live update on Premium Time.
Good morning and welcome to Premium Time Selection Special. My name is Chiamaka Kafo, and today is the day we've all been waiting for across 28 states in Nigeria to conduct gubernatorial elections and House of Assembly elections happening in the 36 states of the country. I'll bring you up to date on headlines this morning. In Lagos, Funke Akindele just voted, or has voted rather, I beg your pardon. Buhari has also casted has cast his final ballot as president of Nigeria. Voters stormed polling units in their numbers in Etiosa. In Akwa Ibom, the LP gubernatorial candidate has said he won't accept results if they are not uploaded on INEC's website. Voting starts early in Kebbi and turnout is massive. House of Assembly elections in Edo witnesses improved security presence. And that will be all on the headlines update we'll be bringing in this morning. I'm joined this morning in the studio by Mbo Eno, who is a Deputy Director at the Center for Journalism, Innovation and Development. And he'll be speaking to us about the deployment the center has done with observers across the states and what the update is so far from the various polling units and states they are covering. Good morning, Mbo.
Good morning, Amaka.
Thank you for joining us this morning here in the studio. For me, I said it's the day we've all been waiting for because I've actually been waiting. Can we get this done and over with has been my expression since the last postponement. And I don't know if this is the same way you felt when the elections were postponed last week.
Yes, I would say that most Nigerians have felt the way you're feeling. And that's not different from what we at the center felt. I mean, let's just get this done. We've started the journey. Let's bring it to conclusion, and then let's see what the future holds for the nation and Nigerians at large. So, yes, we are happy that finally, as it's normally said, the D-Day is here. And so we're just following through the day to see what updates are coming in, how Nigerians are responding to the postponement and to the entire election process.
It's barely 12 p.m. from my clock, and then we've seen reports of ballot snatching in places like Kano. There's been fighting at polling units in Lagos. What other news? I understand that one of your observers has also been picked up and released already in just a few hours.
Yeah, that was in Ondo State, precisely around Akoko. I think it's called Akoko Ikare or something in Ondo State. Himself and his bikeman were picked up and taken to the police station in Akoko Ikare, the police station there. And we're told they had no rights to move around.
Wow.
Even with his tag and all of that. So basically what happened was because there was no sticker on the bike, we all know that even during the presidential elections, there were no stickers. So the bikeman did not have a sticker. So they, on that premise, arrested them, took them to the station. But after a few phone calls, they were released, of course, not without the Nigerian police force extorting some few hundreds of naira from them. So, but yeah, we are glad that he's back on the field, himself and his driver, his bike man. So we're getting updates. And apart from that, we're also hearing a lot of security harassment, which was not the case during the presidential election. So I would say that maybe the commendation that the security operatives received during the presidential election seem to have gotten into their head. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is that we all know that at subnational level, the governors are very powerful in terms of when they want to be in terms of control of security apparatus. So this would also raise the question, is it a show of solidarity for the government at the subnational level? We're seeing a lot of harassment, security personnel in induced disruptions and all of that. A few of that is happening mostly around the Southwest generally. We've reported cases from Oshun, from Ondo, we've reported from Ogun. We have a few from Bayelsa and Rivers as well. So, yeah, so those are part of some of the harassments we've been able to pick up from Incident Tracker.
A lot of people would say that elections are more elections in the states than, compared to the presidential. politics is more local
Yeah.
at the state. So a lot of interest are invested, and people's at risk, at higher risk, working during elections than they are during the presidential. Is this the same thing you're saying now? Is there any truth to this statement, given what you are seeing on the field today?
Truthfully, politics is local, and there are more at stake. There are more things at stake at the subnational level than at the national level. A lot more interests at the subnational level. We're witnessing a situation, for instance, in Lagos, where we hear a lot of uh, threats and counter threats that has been issued and all of that. And that's basically saying that the interest at the subnational level is meant to be higher because they are closer to the people. But what we are witnessing is that even though the interest at the subnational level should be higher, we've witnessed a situation where voters turnout is not really that encouraging as compared to what we had during the presidential. And I would also would might want to would want like to say link to the local nature of the politics to all the intrigues that are currently ongoing, from ballot box attempted snatches to denial of access to polling units and to security agents playing a role. And don't also forget that this guys called party agents also are based in the local community. So they have to play a role in the emergence of whoever they want as the leader, so that they can, at the end of the day, say they deliver their polling unit. So we get to see a lot of intrigues around the subnational elections. And I think that this is really playing out at this election.
I'd like to quickly follow up with, the voter turnout you talked about and
Yeah.
some intimidation. Even the Labour Party candidates of Lagos has alleged intimidation going on in Lagos. And of course, Lagos is an area of interest for all of us, given what's been going on there, the propaganda, the desperation in codes and everything we've seen coming out of there. And also in Enugu, low voter turnout has been seen. And I think similarly to Lagos have seen low voter turnout.
It's a low voter turnout.
Yeah, but then across various news reports, you see some places, for instance, in Kebbi, we see that a massive voter turnout has been seen. The same for Edo, of course, the reports are saying. So how does all of this, fit in together, looking at what happened during presidential elections? Do you think that, that's also a factor playing out here? Because some people have said, oh, there's no point, we do not trust the process, and ultimately our votes won't still count despite electronic transmission and all the promises INEC has made and the improvements with the Electoral Act. So do you see all of this working together to cause increased voter apathy like we saw at the presidential elections?
I think the truth remains that the citizens have been a whole lot discouraged about the post the presidential election. Citizens were more, voters were more excited going into the presidential election because, as I said the last time I was here, the precedent set by the independent national elections for Osun and Ekiti encouraged the large turnout of voters. But we got to the presidential elections, there was a delay in deployment of sensitive materials. Generally, the logistics for INEC was terrible at that elections. And then coupled with the poor logistics at the end of the day, see the results could not be uploaded on the IRF as previously promised by the Independent National Electoral Commission. And it just led to a drop in tempo of excitement for citizens. And I would also say that looking at it, comparing that last week's, 2 weeks ago's elections to what is happening, the February 25th election to what is happening March 18th today, it's it has a direct effect on the turnout today, and I would be shocked if we even have up to 27% turnout as we had during the presidential elections.
Interesting. Perhaps we should send some flowers next week to see that, today election started quite earlier compared to presidential. Do you, like me, think that we need to send them a few flowers to see what?
I think it's too early to applaud INEC for whatever they are doing. Yeah, a large percentage of the polling units we have reports for elections started pretty early, but we also have a few that the elections commenced late. We also have this other local government, for instance, in Missouri local government in, I think that's Bauchi State, precisely Godai Ward and polling unit 27. The beavers there wasn't working as at when they started. We also have reports of beavers malfunctioning in a number of polling units, and one of the polling unit, I think that's in Oshun, the ink was the ink for thumb printing wasn't working. So that's also another a reason. I mean, that's also another failure on the part of INEC not to be sure of what materials they're deploying to the field, because at the end of the day, that's also going to contribute to the slow late commencement of voting in those polling units where these things are happening and all of that. So basically, I would say that, yes, they've started on a good footing, but I think it will be too early to commend them for early deployment. Let's witness how the process turns out at the end of the day. Like 2-3 hours into the elections, there are increasing numbers of beavers malfunctioning across polling units we have observed. And when they make their statement, we're going to be releasing, will be put out, we'll be highlighting some of these things in the statement.
Interesting. What are the areas the center are concerned about? Where do you have your eyes on? So people say we have our eyes on Lagos, on rivers, and I mean, aside these states, of course, I'm sure there are states you have your eyes on keenly.
Yeah.
What other areas do you have your eyes
So
on?
yes, as you mentioned, we have our eyes on Lagos. Lagos is central to whatever happens in Nigeria. Just like Abuja, Lagos is a cosmopolitan city. We have our eyes on rivers. We have our eyes on Kano. And of course, we have our eyes on Kaduna as well. So interestingly, we also have our eyes on Adamawa, because there's a female strong contender in Adamawa. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out. And we have our eyes on a number of other cities, but I think these are the key cities, states where we're really looking out for. As much as we'll have our eyes on these places, let's also have our eyes as citizens, on places like Kogi, Bayelsa, where they don't have governorship elections, but the struggle is who controls the parliament of the state. That's for specifically for Kogi State, whoever, which party controls the parliament in this election will contribute a lot to what happens post the exit of the current governor, whose tenure is coming to an end anytime soon. So that's the fight right now. That is going on in places like that. And Imo States, at the Kogi, you would also say Osun State, of course. We also understand Osun with the current legal tussle going on with the governorship. So it's about control of the state houses of assembly right now for the various parties.
Thank you very much, Mbo, for joining us this morning to discuss these issues. And of course, just like Mbo, I have my eyes on Lagos. I have my eyes on Enugu as well.
Yeah,
I
that's
have
an
my
interesting
eyes
state as
I
well.
have my eyes on Anambra as well, given the saga between the governor
Soludo
and
and
Peter Obi.
Peter
So we
Obi.
want to
Yes,
see what's
what
happening
pans
in
out there?
those areas. And of course, Kogi, because of what we saw during the presidential elections, Adamawa would not be left out because Binani is someone I'm looking out to see, and hopefully I really hope to see and can't wait to see if Nigeria will elect its first
First
elected
female
female governor
governor.
in its recent history. Well, thank you, Bo, for joining us again. This is where we let you go to get back to your drawing board and keep an eyes on your observers who are on the field. Thank
Thank you,
you very
Amaka.
much for
Thank
joining us. And this is Premium Times Election Special. We'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by our reporters in various parts of the country to bring us update on what's going on in their states. Stay tuned. Still Premium Times Elections live updates. My name is Chiamaka Kafo, and we're joined in the studio by Barry Andrews. He is the chief observer of the European Union Elections Observation Mission here in Nigeria. Good morning, Mr. Andrews.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You've been here for a while, I think for 2 weeks now.
Well, in fact, our core team have been here since early January. And then long-term observers came in late January. I came with them, and they are deployed across the country. So now we have short-term observers this week. So in total, we have about 100 people who are deployed around the country, and they are sending information back to us here, and we're preparing a preliminary statement for next month.
Yeah. So you've been around and about, interacting with INEC. And I remember in one of your briefings, you said INEC said it was prepared. And from your interactions, you believe that they are prepared from what they have said. Now, you've seen from deployment this morning, I'm sure you saw deployment this morning, and you've been to a number of polling units. You just came from Zone 4. The LE is around the area, and you've seen how the voting process is going, the elections are proceeding, and voters doing what they know how to do or what they should be doing. How would you assess, what you're seeing vis-a-vis what INEC said to you when you arrived?
Well, we have been to a number of polling units this morning, myself, and of course our observers are all over the country. So we would be careful to wait until we have patterns come into us to see if any of the things that we might observe in one polling unit is being repeated somewhere else. So there may be a delay perhaps in beginning the voting in one polling unit, but that might be an isolated incident. There might be difficulties with BVAS in one or two polling units, but in general, it's working very well. So we wait until we get a much clearer pattern of how it's going across the country. And then we will also cross-check with other international observation missions. ECOWAS are here, African Union, the Commonwealth Foundation. And of course, there are many thousands of domestic observers based here in Nigeria who are also bringing information in. So that's why we wait until Monday to do our preliminary statement. We'll publish that. We'll do a press conference. And we'll invite the media to come and ask us any questions that may arise. But at this stage, things seem to be, most importantly, very peaceful.
You seem to be so sure that you will be able to put out your interim statement by Monday. Why are you so certain?
Well, we have a methodology that we've used actually 6 times before in Nigeria and many hundreds of times across the world. And so we've always been able to do a preliminary statement, but it is just a preliminary one. And within 3 months after the end of the election, we'll do a final report. And that final report will have conclusions and recommendations. And then perhaps in 2 or 3 years after that, we'll come back and check to see whether there has been a high level of implementation of the recommendations. But we do all this at the invitation of of INEC. We do it against criteria that Nigeria has already signed up to and based on what's in Nigerian law. So we have a high level of a very good relationship with the Nigerian authorities, and the recommendations we make are taken in a spirit of partnership. And such criticism as might be there is always seen as constructive criticism.
I'm wondering if the declaration of the winner or not would affect your interim report.
No, it's too early to tell at this point. The preliminary statement that will come out on Monday will have regard not just to individual events. We've been here since early January. We have, for example, an election technology analyst, we have press analysts, we have social media analysts, and all of them are feeding in about the entire process, not just what happens on election day, not just what happens on individual polling units. And we'll stay here until early April to complete this process. So we'll be here for the governor elections on the 11th of March. And if there's a second round in the presidential, of course, we'll be here, and certainly I'll be here to continue the observation. So it's a very long process against a very tried and tested methodology and against international criteria that Nigeria is already signed up to.
Can I get a little still into some part of your reports, which will be the pre-election part? How would you rate that part of it, pre-elections for Nigeria? What will be your assessment of pre-election preparation or processes for Nigeria?
Sure. So we'll be looking at all of the challenges, and we're taking note of issues to do with security, to do with the registration of voters, the collection of PVCs, the technology, the freedom of the media, which is a critical cornerstone of any democracy. And we'll obviously be looking at, we've had excellent engagement with the key political participants. I've met the three main political presidential candidates, and we've had excellent engagement at every level. So, but we will wait till Monday to make our observations known publicly, because there's still a lot to gather in, still a lot of information to gather in, of course, today, and then the collation process at local government level, at state level, and federal level. So we will gather all that information and hopefully in a better position to make those views known by Monday.
Could you wrap up your thoughts to end this session of Premium Times Elections Updates? What would you say to Nigerians, political parties, candidates? Elections are still ongoing, voting is still ongoing, and elections, this process doesn't end until a winner is declared. So what words do you have for Nigerians and, of course, candidates through this process?
Well, I would echo the sentiments expressed at the signing of the peace accord during the week, that this will be a peaceful day and that Nigerians can go to the polling units in their areas unhindered, that they can exercise their franchise freely, and that is encouraged, especially by the political participants, and that they make that very clear in the way that they conduct themselves during today. So really, that is my core message. We really hope to have a peaceful day, because Nigeria is not just important for the region, but for the whole of Africa. And that's one of the reasons why the European Union invests so much time and expertise into this process.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Andrews. That was Mr. Barry Andrews of the EU Election Observation Mission. He is the chief observer of the mission, and he's been here since early February to monitor the process, and they have over 100 elections observers across the country, and we have heard from him directly. We're hoping that the process will be seamless and peaceful until we have a winner declared by the INEC. Stay tuned. This is Premium Times Elections live updates. Still Premium Times Elections live updates. My name is Chiamaka Okafor, and we're joined in the studio by Barry Andrews. He is the chief observer of the European Union election.
I don't think we are coming out to vote anymore. We are sick and tired of this our so-called ancestors ruling us all this while. You finish out of school, no job. Our mothers will spend money, send us to school, after that, no job. Why their children are overseas, schooling, doing all manner of what they want, and we are here. Who is suffering the thing? I and you, not them. And they want to continue to take us back to another 4 years again. No, it's not possible. Our mandate must be claimed, and we believe that our vote will count.
Are you going to vote in the entire election?
Come on, how can you vote? If you are me, will you vote? I stood under the sun from morning to evening, and after that, what I got was a different result. How do you want me to come and stand under the sun? What makes you believe that INEC chairman will be fair on this coming election? What played at the presidential election will still play in the governorship. That's one thing. Because I can see that INEC chairman is not prepared. He is not prepared. Nigeria is not ready for the election.
So what is your advice for an average Nigerian youth?
Okay, my advice is that let's be calm. If you want to vote, go out there and cast your votes. It matters a lot. If you want, it's not by force. If you want, you can go out there and cast your vote. And always remember that what you got in presidential is also what you got in this governorship election. Or else, if INEC chairman wants to save this country, he will come out to announce and give the youth of this country hope that that same presidential election will still count. And he will see us come out in masses and vote again. I don't think we are coming out to vote anymore. We are sick and tired of this our so-called ancestors ruling us all this while. You finish out of school, no job.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Premium Times Election Special. My name is Chiamaka Okafor. We will be joined by our reporters from various parts of the country to bring us up to date on what's going on. We've heard news about voter suppression, low voter turnout, and of course, massive voter turnout in different parts of the country. But we'll hear firsthand from reporters on the field on what's going on. And I'll be joined now by Chinagoro Ugo, what's going on. Good morning, Chinagoro.
Good morning. I think it's afternoon already.
Yeah, it's afternoon actually. I beg your pardon. Good afternoon, Chinagoro.
Good afternoon.
How's it going in Enugu?
Of course, earlier we noticed across the polling units in Enugu that there is low turnout of voters in many units where we visited. And although the elections and started early enough, better than that of 25th February presidential and national assembly elections. Of course, also the materials and the election officials arrived earlier this time, better than that of the 25th February election. So, but the issue here across polling units has been the low turnout of voters.
Are there reasons for the low turnout? Have you spoken to any voters around? Is there any voters on ground we can speak to understand why there's a low turnout or why they think their compatriots or counterparts are not voting?
Yes, I have a voter with me here who will be sharing, speaking on that, to us right away.
Okay, please introduce them and have them speak to us.
Okay. We have a voter here.
Go ahead, sir. What's
My name
your
is Emeka Nkwo. I'm the chairman of the commodity in market, which is provision dealers.
Okay. Can we just get to you feel with the process? How satisfied? How do you see the process so far?
What I see today, I'm very, very happy to see such. And also the crowd I'm seeing here today. My people come and vote. Some have left. They come in mass. So with the INEC and the other people here, we cast our vote very, very quiet and very, very simple. So I'm happy with the INEC officials today election.
How would you compare the turnout with that of the 25th February presidential and national assembly elections?
For today, the incoming governor this polling booth is his own. So what I'm seeing today for the other one, for today is more larger than the other one.
So, okay, like there's improved turnout better than the previous election.
Indeed.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Chinagoram. We heard him loud and clear on what the outcome is, or the turnout rather is this morning in Enugu. And of course, he has stated a genuine factor, which is that one of the runners, which of the candidates' polling unit is this?
This is the polling unit for the APC governorship candidates in the state, Uche Nnaji. This is polling unit 15, Akbugo Ward 3 in Kano West local government area of Enugu State, Southeast Nigeria.
Interesting. So we've heard from people in Akbugeze, in Kano local government, in Enugu State. This is why they have come out to vote, and they are also thanking INEC, giving INEC flowers for how efficient they've been in delivering voting materials quite early enough compared to presidential candidates. We'll join you again, Chinagoro, to bring us more details from the next polling unit you'll be visiting, and also to say that we will also be bringing update from Lagos State to hear exactly what's going on in Lagos State. But before we're joined by our reporters in Lagos State, we'll be joined by Lois Ubede, who is a fact checker with Dubawa, to tell us more about the fact checks that has happened this morning and several misinformation and disinformation spread across Lagos State. Thank you.
You are still excited over the victory of the party in the last presidential election. What are your expectations?
Well, I do not expect anything less because we have gone through the constitutional perspectives. We told Nigeria what we are going to do. We had a very free party election. The chairman emerged. He was experienced 2 times governor and senator. So there's nothing.
You believe in God, and when you know that people are suffering, you want to take them out from poverty. You want to fight their cause. You don't just want to be in the House Assembly, just talking without anything. Some of them, they give them constituency allowance. They are not spreading it on the communities. They just enrich their pockets. And for this cause, I have to come out as a woman. Because every man comes out from the woman. And I have to fight it. It's a time of liberation. It's a time of revolution. We have to fight for it. We are mothers. We are not happy the way our state is being run. We are not happy the way our constituency is being run. And for this cause, I have to stand up. And I'm standing tall, edge to edge.
Okay, so in the last election, the presidential election, and now the House of Assembly election, how can you rate the efforts of INEC in this process, ma'am?
Well, INEC is doing their job, but probably they still need to, raise up. There are some areas that they need to work on. That's what I can say. They are still lacking in some areas. So they need to raise up.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome back. I'm joined in the studio this afternoon again by Lois Ubede, who is a researcher with Dubawa, a fact-checking organization, a hub at the Center for Journalism, Innovation and Development. And she will be discussing with us the few viral claims that have surfaced on social media this morning from different places. I think the most interesting I find of them is the one emanating from Senator Dino Milai, but we'll have Lois talk about that. Good afternoon, Lois. Thank you.
Hi, Amaka.
For
Good
joining
afternoon.
me again
Good to be here again.
Yeah, to discuss misinformation, disinformation for today. Yesterday I asked you what the kind of work you'll be doing today will look like, and I see that you have your work cut out for you already because it's pouring.
We always do.
So one claim I see, so someone on social media shared a letter claiming that the Labour Party candidate had been thrown under the bus, replaced by the Lagos state chapter of the Lagos Labour Party. I beg your pardon. And I see that you guys have verified this claim or fact checked it rather. And how did you go about this? Because it's a hot afternoon, I dare to say, and a lot of things are going on at the same time. So how did you arrive at this? What were your findings?
Okay, so basically that letter started making the rounds last night. That the Labour Party had changed their governorship candidate. And we see a lot of these kind of claims the night before or in the early hours of the election day. And most of the times they are always false. So we basically reach out to the party. Is this going on in your party? Have you changed your governorship candidate? Even though we know it's too ridiculous to happen, because even if you change your candidate, it doesn't count because INEC recognizes the previous candidates. So we just reached out to the party and they confirmed that that's false and the letter was doctored.
So the Twitter frenzy, the Twitter creates a lot of false information, unverified information, half truths have made their way to Twitter. Twitter has become an echo chamber for people to share things they do not even give a second thought to. And another claim from Twitter here on Labour Party as well. It says that the PDP has collapsed its structure for Labour Party governorship candidates. And you ask yourself, this is the same person that he just said had been replaced. So how come the PDP is collapsing their structure for him? Tell us what you did around this.
Okay, so basically we had to reach out to both parties, the Labour Party and the People's Democratic Party, to know what was going on in their party. Have you seen this content? Is it true? Or what are your thoughts about it? And they debunked it. They denied that nothing like that was happening. So a lot of people just try different narratives that they can use to drive or distract people. We saw this in the presidential election. We saw letters saying Atiku had stepped down for Obi. We saw another one that Obi had stepped down for Atiku.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, and it's just funny how people run with stuff like this.
I like, the way we are walking through this to help people understand how they can by themselves verify information that they come across. And again, this is today saying that, and we've seen this flowing on social media, both WhatsApp, Facebook, and Twitter, about talks destroying polling units in Sangotedo, in Aja. And there are a couple of them also coming out from Lagos. People are saying elections is not happening in Lagos. The people are being sent back home for different reasons, including the Oro Festival going on in Edo this morning. You guys also fact check this. And how did you have people there at the polling unit?
Yes, so because we know a lot of things will be happening at the same time, we have observers, we have reporters, and because of the coalition, which has given us a wider reach, so we have resources from different news platforms and fact-checking organizations. So while one organization cannot cover all of the states having an election, other organizations will have someone there. So we reach out to our reporters or observers on the field to give an on-ground report of what's happening.
My favorite person who is like, is an elder statesman. I dare to call him that when it comes to propagating unverified information on social media. The Senator Dino Milai, he's done it again this morning. We posting a video saying security forces had arrested some thug associated with APC in Lagos State yesterday. And what did you guys do around this?
Okay, so basically we did an analysis on the video and saw that this video had appeared online in 2022. And it's ridiculous how a year later he's sharing the same video as something happening recently. And because Dino is already known as someone who puts out, you want to be wary of his content and just do the basics.
Interesting. Tell us how Nigerians, unsuspecting Nigerians, as well as suspecting Nigerians, could reach out to you with claims that they want to help get verified information around?
Okay, so basically we are active on all our social media platforms. You can reach out to us on Twitter at DubawaNG. You can reach out to us on Facebook or Instagram. We also have a WhatsApp community, so if you're part of that, you can also drop your claims or content you've come across that you're suspicious of. And you can also reach out to other organizations or fact checkers, individual fact checkers that you know. I know one of the things that helped us during the presidential election was I put out, and a lot of us, members of the coalition, put out on our personal social media space that you can reach out to us directly with claims. So that gave us a lot of resource to work on.
Interesting. Thank you very much, Lois, for
Thank
joining
you.
us. And you have it there, Dubawa is spelled Dubawa, Dubawa NG on Twitter. That's where to find them. And ask questions, make comments in the comment section, send a direct DM with claims you want to be verified. That's what's going on across the country. And it seems that Lagos has the highest number of, claims as to what's going on, what's not going on. We'll be joined right now by Majida Labi, who is in Lagos, to bring us up to date on, a lot of this stories and information coming out of Lagos. Good morning, good afternoon, Mr. Labi.
It seems you seem to have so much to do with morning every time. So it is afternoon here.
I'm a morning person totally. So you see that I am in love with mornings already.
Great. So thank you so much. I think so great. So yeah, we're in Lagos. I've been out, I've been around, I've been in Ikeja, I've been to Ifakoja, I've been to Jodu Axis, and I've been to Jodu LCDA. And I think today it's a mixed bag. There are places where we have good turnout, and there are places where there is serious low turnout. People talk about the scary scenes of sacrifices placed. Voting is a pity. I've just left one of the scenes now, where we have sacrifice placed just by the doorstep, by the entrance of the polling unit inside the Omole Grammar School, even near our office in Lagos. I just left that axis now. And I think to a large extent, I'm in front of a polling unit inside Karaole in Lagos now again. I think there is people have actually voted here. Let me just get down and see. Let me get down from the car so that we can actually provide viewers a kind of the real situation out there. I think people have voted early here. I don't know if you can see my back here. You will see the polling unit.
Now we have to deal with network challenges alongside the calabashes that have been placed in various parts of Lagos for sacrifice. And of course, I'm sure that has a lot to do with the Oro Festival going on. And hopefully, people are not dissuaded from voting or intimidated when it comes to voting in Lagos specifically. Mr. Alabi, if you're back, can you hear me?
Okay, studio. Okay, which premium times? Let's see
Of course,
why are
you
you
can
talking
see
about
clearly that Mr. Alabi is being interrogated by the
Sorry, I
security, I would
think
imagine.
Lagosians are very careful. Lagosians has been, there is so much in the air, and everybody is just trying to be as much as possible to be careful. And I think what we have here is that you can see that people have cast their votes, and they are waiting for the closing time before they can start the counting, the sorting, and the counting. And that's what is happening here. This is inside Karaole State, Ifakoja, low government area of the state. We have been around, we have moved around, and what we have seen so far is that there is low turnout in certain places, certain quarters, and at the same time, we have good turnout in some other places. So what we have now is the fact that some places too, people are afraid because of the situation there, where you have sacrifices placed at the entrance of polling units. You just this morning we have seen head of one issue who placed in a calabash with palm oil and some other items put together and placed at the doorstep at the entrance of Omole Grammar School, where we have a lot of polling units. People pass by, but a lot of people, I know some people were actually scared and they felt that, look, this does not deserve, this doesn't worth it for them to have their life at risk to put their neck on the line. So I think so far what we have in Lagos is that people talk about intimidation here and there. It is still not over, but they are encouraging people to go out to vote. We have not heard of any serious crisis apart from little fisticuffs here and there, disagreements, people engaging each other, but they are being resolved. So there's nothing really serious. But Lagos are quietly waiting for the counting period where the ballot will be sorted and it will be counted. So we wait also, just like you have seen them here. People come, they get accredited, and at the same time, they are able to go and vote. But it seems that just few persons are coming around now because a lot of people have actually come in the past, in the early in the morning. So it's around to 1 p.m. now. I think this is going to be rounded up by 2:30. So they are just waiting for the time they are waiting the clicking of the clocks, the ticking clocks to just they are waiting for the clocks to continue to tick to 2:30 when they will be able to do the sorting and the counting. So there is really nothing much for now. We also have our reporters all over. Funke Akindele has voted in Lagos today.
I hope that we've not lost Mr. Alabi to one of the goat heads, and he's here. He said he saw on the streets, and I hope he's had breakfast already before coming out. But we hope that we could join him quickly again so that we can get updates from Lagos on what's going on around the area. But as we've heard, there are different cases and different formats of voter suppression going on in Lagos State as a result of these calabashes and ICAO. If I hadn't had breakfast this morning, I probably would, move over to Lagos to have some good ICAO. And Mr. Rabi, I was asking if you had run up to have one of the ICAO, like you said.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Hello, John? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Now, can you come again with your question?
Yeah, I was hoping you didn't leave me all by myself here to go and enjoy ICAO. You look like you wanted some.
Thank you. So, no, the problem may be that at the end of the day, going during this and the next 1 week, we may not have access to good meat in the market, or we may not have enough to buy because it seems that across many places, a lot of goats and rams are being used for sacrifices. So when we get to our abattoir this time around, we may be shocked not to have enough meat, because a whole lot of places you see goat heads, different places placed in calabashes. They said it is part of the sacrifices made as part of Oro festival, but this is quite strange because this is the first time we are witnessing this in Lagos, and unfortunately this is the same period that we used to have elections. So why the sacrifices are coming at this time is what we don't know. But I think this is also affecting the turnout already, and that is definitely the part of certain things that the planners wanted to achieve.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if there's anything the state government and the police in Lagos State are doing around this issue, seeing that it is also a reason for low voter turnout and people are scared for their lives. Of course, no one wants to get in the way of any sacrifices. I wouldn't want to do that myself.
No, but beyond that, when I was discussing on this our program yesterday, I actually explained that the wave, the kind of the expectations of the spiraling effect of the last election will not be witnessed this time. One, for some reasons. Number one is the fact that because a whole lot of people who actually came out positively last during the presidential election, are not in turn. They are really not emboldened to come out because the result didn't actually go their way as they expected. So as a result, a lot of people were demoralized, they were dejected, and many could not come out. We have also had it, people talking about the competence and capacity of different candidates, and they said that so far, in terms of capacity, in terms of competence, in terms of ability, there are other candidates, especially in Lagos, are not better than Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. That is even far better than what oppositions have produced. And as a result of that, you sure know that that will definitely affect that. If you are not voting for this man, then definitely you are wasting your vote because the people you want to consider are not better than him, or they are even worse off. So it's part of the reasons why I feel that the turnout may be low, apart from people who may want to vote in the system again. And so far, I have seen a lot of places where those who came out, apart from the interior, when you go to places like Okera in Ojodu LCD, you have a lot of persons there who are coming in, and you realize that different persons actually, those who came out, they are out, and once they see that it is becoming a bit delayed, some of them will go back because they are really not as committed as it was as they were on 25 February. So you can see I'm approaching another polling unit here, and I think there's practically nobody. I'm going to get down now to give you a kind of a full view of what you are going to have. You will see what we will have here now is that a lot of people are just waiting for the 2:30 so that they can actually have their results. They can have their results. Can you see me here now? Hello, Chiamaka? Hello, Chiamaka?
Yes, I can hear you. I can see you.
Yeah, if you see around here now, you will see that there is really nothing much going on again. What people are doing. Do you have access to this now?
Yes, I
you
can
will see
see
that
that.
there's really nothing much. People are just waiting for 2:30 to come so that they can do this. They can do the sorting and the counting, and everybody is just waiting around and trying as much as possible to see what will happen. You can see the ballot boxes are already filled up, so they are waiting for 2:30 when they will be able to announce the closure and start the sorting and the counting, and people can have their results before they go to ward level. This is the polling unit level, and this is inside Harmony Estate, Ifakoja, a local government area. This is so what you have in Lagos is that it's been peaceful all over. Like I told you, a whole lot of our persons have actually been on the field all along. They have been to Ikorodu this morning. One of our reporters has been to Ikorodu this morning. One of our reporters was with Funke Akindele, the deputy governor of PDP, where she was voting. One of us was at the polling unit of the Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu this morning, where he voted on the Highland. And the candidate of the Labour Party also voted in Ikeja. So I think Anifowoshe area in Ikeja. So I think things have been peaceful, though there are sacrifices, like I said, placed across some polling units, at the entrance of some polling units. And what we have seen is that the kind of the motivation that people had probably the last election may not be there this time. But a whole lot of them are trying as much as possible to provide the very best that they can do. But Lagos is peaceful. Things are going normally. There are fisticuffs here and there, but they are really, really under control. So things are not bad. So we just wait for the 2:30 to come so that sorting and counting can start. So that is what we'll be able to do.
Thank you very much, Mr. Labi, for that update from Lagos. We are happy to hear that Lagos is peaceful so far. And we're just a few hours away, counting down to 2:30 when collation will resume in Lagos, and hopefully the best man wins the race.
Thank you so much. So we'll be glad to come back online when the voting and sorting, when the sorting and counting is over. We will try as much as possible to come back. So
Yeah, we will be expecting you.
there is a kind of argument here. So is there any problem? So what's the problem, please? Are you on this? Can you hear? We are not living. This is live studio. This is. I think there is argument. There is argument here. My name is. I stay in this estate. I'm a journalist. I'm with Premium Times. Okay. I'm a journalist. No, it doesn't.
With due respect, I'm the chairman here.
I know very well. I know I like you. So, Chamaka, let me be out of the studio for now, so that we can be able to sort this. There is a kind of argument going on here. So, thank you.
Sir.
We will continue to bring updates as events unfold.
Thank you very much, Moji Dalabi, for that contribution.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes, we will be joined by Bakari Majid to discuss projections made by Premium Times ahead of the conclusion of today's elections, of course. And Majid will be taking us all the way to Kwara to see what the state politics is looking like. And if the Saraki dynasty will be back in government, who knows? We will find out shortly when as Majid Bakari, I beg your pardon, joins us. And he's here in the studio, of course, to speak on these issues with me. Good afternoon, Bakari.
Good afternoon.
You look like you're contesting.
We're doing the practice already.
Interesting. So you did a very interesting analysis on the pardon me, I think I'm about to just destroy how that sounds, but that should be Otoge or Otuge.
No, Otoge.
Otoge movement in Kwara State. And I like the way you said the Sarakites. Is that what you said?
The Sarakis.
Yeah, so the Saraki dynasty may be returning, and we see that they're pulling quite some strength there in Kwara State.
And prior to 2019, you're looking at a 40 years dynasty that started from in the 70s when Olusola Saraki was the Senate majority leader. And from that period up till 2011, Olusola Saraki determined who becomes the governor of the state or not, even to the level of local government chairman. But the dynasty, his own part of the dynasty, ended in 2011, and interestingly, it was orchestrated by his own son, the former Senate President, Bukola Saraki, who opposed his father, who was trying to bring on board his younger sister, Gbemisola Saraki, the current Minister of Transportation now, who wanted to become governor in 2011. So the elder Saraki opposed, that kind of succession plan and backed someone from the minority group, the former governor Ahmed Abdul Fattah, that we popularly call Megida. The whole history, went by 2015. They all moved to the APC. And they were able to be sustained by the APC tsunami, who kept them in power. But by 2019, the center could not hold again, as the coalition came, on board, comprises of different people. That events in the last, couple of months now have actually made us to realize that it was not really a coalition of ideas. It was more about a set of people who came together on the basis of this.
A common enemy.
A common enemy has to go. And interestingly, and that is why we are saying that this election is going to be a review of that coalition, the Otoge movement. How far has it been? And if you look at it, if you're familiar with the events in the state in the past, in the last 3 years, you see how the entire movement has been in some sort of an infighting within themselves, because after the 2019 election, there was basically no opposition in the state until the movement started fighting within themselves. So at a point, it was broken down into two. A faction led by the Minister of Culture, Minister of Information and Culture, I beg your pardon, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, on one side, and you have the incumbent governor, Abdul Fattah Abdurrahman, on another side, where they started fighting for the control of the structure of the party. So within that period, there were a lot of back and forth, a lot of media mudslinging and what have you. But if you look at it critically well, the governor was able to take control of the entire structure of within the APC, forcing quite a number of them out of the party, where you saw people within the party who decided to move to the Social Democratic Party, SDP, while some moved to the New Nigerians People Party, some moved to YPP. So within themselves, there have been some form of internal balkanization where you just divided the entire movement into different parts. So by 2022, last year, the Saraki party were able to come on board again and say, okay, let us subject this movement into a serious test. And that was where the idea of Osuwa actually came about. Osuwa in Yoruba translation means, okay, we are tired.
We're tired, yeah.
So now it's the review of the Otoge enough is enough, and we are tired on one side. So that is how, there is no way you have to look at this race without understanding the history behind it.
Yeah, quickly to cut you there will be to ask what, your headline reads, can Saraki exploit split in Otoge movement to make a comeback in Kwara? And direct question to you there will be to ask, do you think that the state governor, Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, stands a chance? Is it formidable enough? Because there are mixed feelings in Kwara. Like you said, there's the Osuwa movement. We're tired. And there are also people trying to consolidate power, to say we've done this in the last 4 years. The people who are in the cabin of Mr. Abdulrazak say we've done this and we think we deserve another 4 years to continue. So direct question, and I hope you can give me a yes or no answer.
I pray so.
Do you think that Mr. Abdulrazak stands a chance to come back?
Yes, absolutely. I think so. And for quite a number of reasons. And Kwara politics, like most other places in Nigeria, is most time divided along certain lines. Lines like senatorial district. Because if you look at Kwara State very well, it's a place where you have, it's multilingual. You have different kind of tribes and ethnicity, coming on board. So when you have a society like that, certain primordial sentiment comes into play. So the question you ask yourself is that, where is the governor from? Where is the person that is trying to challenge him is from? So the Abdullahi Yaman, who happens to be the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, is from Kwara North. Why the governor himself is from Kwara Central, the Ilorin axis. So essentially, in battle of voting strength, Kwara Central has a very strong voting strength, voting capacity.
Yeah.
So automatically, most times, candidates always come from that axis, which is Ilorin. But Abdurrahman, he has to actually fight other candidates who are equally formidable from Ilorin. You are the former Vice Chancellor of University of Ilorin, Professor Abdurrahim Oba, who is the candidate of the New Nigerians People's Party. You have Lawal, who is the son of the former governor of the state, Mohammed Alabi Lawal, who is also from Ilorin. But the question you ask yourself is that how formidable is the platform that they are running on?
I'll quickly cut you there, Bakari, to say that we'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll talk about how formidable these different camps are. Stay tuned, we'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll learn more about the formidability of the various camps in Kwara State.
That we have hope, and we are not going to be said by this mafia type government that only gets legitimacy from thuggery and violence. And I'm very proud of our people. I'm very proud of Lagosians. I'm very proud of Nigerians, because Lagos is a microcosm of Nigeria. And it's time for a new generation to stand and say, we want a new type of government. So I encourage them to continue. We are with them, we are behind them, and we are ensuring that every way we can support them security-wise, we are doing that.
What's the report that you've been getting from?
There's been widespread attempts of voter suppression. Places like in VGC, the polling unit agents are not going into the estates because they want to draw people out or not have them vote at all. You have situations in Iba, as at now, polling materials have not yet gotten into Iba. You have places like Oshodi, Solo, Agbo Palace Way, Okota. They are using a lot of voter intimidation, chasing people away. In Koshofe, Jipron, the APC thug has chased all Labour people out of the area. But we are on it. We are on it. We are on it.
Okay, how will you describe the process here and also the
Anifoshe is a community that they don't try nonsense, right? They don't try nonsense. We vote and our votes count. So I cannot use this word as a benchmark. They are chasing people away, right? And in other parts of Ikeja as well that are more prone to violence.
Okay, are you confident of allowing this threat to your life? Are you confident of that right now?
Am I certain I'm winning election? We are forming the next government of Lagos State. The will of the people is going to prevail. They are going to try, but the will of the people eventually prevails. And your question was?
In the last 2 weeks, you've allowed certain threats in your life. What is the update of that?
So there are threats, but we cannot be afraid. I'm a son of Lagos. My forefathers lived here, right? I'm not going to be intimidated by anybody. And we mean well for the people of Lagos. And it's time for them. Everybody that is even carrying out all this violence, you want to look at their life in the last 10 years, they are suffering. Most of these people are living in poverty. Their gutters are not there. They cannot send their children to public school. They cannot go to public hospitals. If their wife wants to give birth, for them to find bed is a problem. So you see that a lot of these people, they are not thinking. Because they are suffering, but they are still carrying on the government that's making them suffer. They will give them some 10,000 or 15,000 naira or even 100,000 naira. They won't see them again for 4 years. They'll be left doing admirable work. So, by God's grace, it's time for the people to be lifted up. Because see,
all right. Good morning, distinguished senator. Okay, how is today? I know you are a candidate in the race. How is the race?
What is beauty about my polling unit is that we don't force people to vote, like showing you what to vote. So if you don't vote for NNPP, you should not vote. We allow, because this is a cosmopolitan area where you have Igbo, other people, not only my village, this is my village. The other people who are like me, who are candidates like me, I think they will want to direct how the voting pattern should be. That's the beauty of it. You can vote for whoever you want to vote for. Politics is about development. If what I've done in this village, I've given them water. The water I brought as a senator, I did reticulation. I built schools. I've built road here. I have built hospitals here. If that one cannot guarantee my vote, I've given scholarship, then why should I force my villagers to vote for me? Either I have not done well, or they are independent-minded. They can vote whoever they want.
Okay.
So the beauty is that it's going on well. I was worried about other areas. I got information about other areas.
Okay. Senator, we understand that during the presidential election, you lost your polling unit to Labour Party. If that happens today, will you accept?
Still accept. I have no option. You know why? Because Igbo people, the next one pool is a mechanic village. You have over 5,000 Igbo people around here. So they can vote for whoever they want to vote for. And I accepted it. I didn't force it. There are some places that will not allow Igbo to vote. Because I'm from here. I did not exert that arrogance. I didn't say this is my village. Because I know where Igbo people will vote. Don't vote here. We didn't do that.
Okay, Senator, the last turnout was more than this in this unit. What do you attribute to this?
It was the Obi movement. And most of the Igbo people came to vote. A number of people came to vote. And I think I will attribute that. The movement of Obi and all that. Of the mechanic village. to the voting center. They live here, they work here. Their numbers is much.
Normally, okay, distinguished senator, if at the end of the election and the result is announced, would you accept if the result doesn't favor you?
If you do it, if you allow the election to go on.
All right. Good morning, distinguished senator.
We have just witnessed my casting of my own votes this morning. My wife and I are happy with the from INEC. We are happy with the level of turnout at this polling unit. You can see that I'm told that they came right on time, and voting is on. I think it's a time for us as a people to see and to understand that this process is not meant to be a process of violence. Election that leads to a democratic process is the best form of the validation of what true democracy should be about. And so I want to reiterate again that this contest is about peace, it's about progress, it's about prosperity for our state and our country at large. And I want you all, gentlemen of the press, to continue to preach and to advocate for everyone to have the right to be able to express themselves freely, fairly, and transparently. I'm indeed happy driving here this morning that everywhere in the city looks calm. But there are a few disturbing videos that we also see where some parties I'm told that they were doing one or two things which it's not verifiable, so I'm not going to talk about it, right? But really is just to say that I'm excited and I'm happy to be here, and I want to ask that all of our voters, all of our citizens should just remain vigilant. You know, if you see anything, say something, and just all let's come out, you know, and exercise our right freely to vote of any form of acrimony or any form of protest or any form of intimidation. That is not acceptable as a government.
The second one that is serious is from Ihiala local government area, where government officials brought in armed thugs to the secretariat. The thugs have been arrested. They are 5 in number. 5 pump-action guns have been recovered, and the thugs have been detained. We did warn from the onset that we will not tolerate thuggery, we will not tolerate smashing of ballot boxes, and we will come down hard on anyone who violates the Electoral Act and guidelines issued by INEC for the conduct of this election. So these ones that were arrested have violated criminal matter per se. The second one that is serious is from Ihiala local government area, where government officials brought in armed thugs to the secretariat. The thugs have been arrested. They are 5 in number. 5 pump-action guns have been recovered, and the thugs have been detained. We did warn from the onset that we will not tolerate thuggery, we will not tolerate smashing of ballot boxes, and we will come down hard on anyone who violates the Electoral Act and guidelines issued by INEC.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Hasbunallah. 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 Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Can you pick the two? Thank you. Show it to us here. Drop your food.
Yes.
Welcome back to Premium Times Election Special. My name is Chiamaka Okafor, and we still have Majid Bakare in the studio. And we will be wrapping up the conversation around Kwara State to see and hear how formidable Mr. Bakare thinks the three senatorial districts are and the key players in the senatorial districts from Kwara Central to Kwara North and Kwara South. Thank you, Bakare, for sitting here and doing this, very wholesome analysis with me on what the formidability of these parties are. So speak to me on Kwara Central, then we'll move over to the south and then the north.
Interestingly, because the race on paper looks like 4 or 5 horse race, but actually in real sense it's just 2. But however, you have certain candidates who are from Kwara Central who are equally in their own individual capacity. You can refer to them as strong. But however, the question is that how formidable is the platform that they are running on? For instance, now you have Professor Rahim Oba, the former Vice Chancellor of the University of Ilorin, who is on the NNPP platform. You have Muhammad Lawason, who is on SDP platform. Then you have the incumbent governor himself, Abdulrazak Abdurrahman, who is on the platform. Then you also have the former Senate President, Bukola Saraki. All of them are from the Central. So naturally, Central is going to be the battleground. But in the case of the North Central, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Abdullahi Yaman, is the only candidate from that side. And ironically, he was also a major player in the Otoge movement before he left and joined the People's Democratic Party, where he was given ticket. So he is the only candidate from the North Central. So if you do the 1 + 2, you say, oh, that means he owns the entire North Central. But actually, it's not true because you have that particular senatorial district where you have a lot of different groups, ethnicity and this and like that. You have the Nupe people who are predominantly in places like Patiji and the rest like that. You have more of Baruba people in Barutin, Kayama. You have Yoruba people too in Kayama. So it's not going to be a serious one unified voting bloc because there are sentiments within that place who will tell you and say, look, instead of rushing to jump now, why not we wait till 2027? So at the end of the day, the capacity of the candidate of the People's Democratic Party that represents the Sarake bloc to be able to get that kind of vote from North Central will be determined by the ability to unite the entire forces there. Because if you have to use the spread during the Presidential National Assembly election, if you want to use it as a yardstick, you look at it and say, oh, APC will probably clear because they won the senatorial districts there and the 2 House of Representatives sits there. So you can look at it and say equally APC is stronger. So if you go to Kwara South, that is the region I call the battle of the deputies because that is the part where you get a lot of Christians if you are running as a Muslim, you need a deputy there. So virtually interestingly, everybody picked their deputies from the Kwara South senatorial district. Interestingly, all the local governments there are more Yoruba people. But even within the Yoruba district, there are still certain divisions that you look at. In Ofaonyo, you have the Bolo people. In Irekpo Odun, in local government, Ifelodun, you have the Gominos. And while in Ekiti and Okero, you are going to have the Ekiti people. So there's also some form of rivalry within those enclaves so everybody strategically picked their descendants. So almost across board is going to be battleground because you look at yourself and say, okay, how well can I deliver my local government as a deputy on the platform of this particular party thereabout? So the inability to have a united coalition against the incumbency may be the major thing that will decide this because at the end of the day, those who may be dissatisfied with the government may end up just speaking randomly and say, oh, maybe I'll take PDP, maybe I'll take NNPP, maybe I'll take SDP. At the end of the day, what have you done like that? You ended up dividing the entire structure. And when you have a divided opposition, it's only a logical decision that the ruling party may end up being the beneficiary of that decision. And if you look at the political history of the state, it's not really a radical voting decision that will say you keep on changing this thing. No, it's a place where immediately whoever controls the political structure end up being in control for quite a while until there is some sort of and that is why people look back at the autocrat movement and look at it as some form of revolution on itself. This is a state that is not known for those kind of radical departure from establishment. So if you look at it generally, every single thing still seems to be tilting towards the ruling party retaining. This is not a pass mark on the performance as a whole, but on the political reality when you have oppositions, disunited facing a ruling party.
Strategic politicking I see happening in Kwara State. And this brings me back to what happened in 2015 and how our current president, Muhammadu Buhari, was able to unseat Goodluck Jonathan, then former president, then president, I beg your pardon, the coalition between ACN, CPC, and ANPP, and a couple of others. So they came together to do this. And just like you said, if you really want to unseat an incumbent government, you have to come together as...
And there are groups within them who never want to work together.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the case in Kwara State. Let's quickly move over to the Southwest to see the dynamics happening in Oyo State. Interesting for me because of the Seyi Makinde person and the role he played in the G5 and how that will be affecting his own fortune in the elections. Can you speak to me about what may be strategic or not strategic? It might not necessarily be identical to what's happening in Kwara State, but what do you see? What do you project to happen in Oyo?
Oyo, there's a popular phrase in Oyo says, Oyo is in Ilemeji. It means Oyo does not serve you twice. And until that particular jinx was broken by the late Governor Ajimobi, who was able to do 2 times. And before him, no one has ever done that. Lamadeshino a single time, Rashid Ladoja impeached along the way, both by the court. You have Alawa Kala, probably a single time. It was until Abiola Ajimobi came on board. And if you look at the politics there, by last year, it was looking like a known contest because Oyo State, like most states in Nigeria, there's one particular sin that you must not commit. Don't mess around with teachers. Paid because it's a civil servant state. So if you meet up with that obligation, every other sin could be forgiven. And so you have a governor who, by all accounts of conversation, has been able to be on the right side of teachers and civil servants in that particular state. So by this time last year, it was more or less a conversation of there is no conversation that probably she would win. And by the time the APC finished their congress to select candidate, and the whole disagreement that happened that allowed Bayo Adelabu to move to a court party. So every single thing was looking all well and all good for Seyi Makinde until the OG5 governors rebellion started, and he played a major role there. Even when others were showing sign of fidgeting and whatever, he was not. He was consistent about it. He didn't openly endorse Bola Tinubu, the presidential candidate of the APC, who is now the president-elect. He did it, but in act, whether in action or omission, he gave all the impression to actually back Bola Tinubu. So, but like we all have all these top to bottom kind of voting pattern. That singular action ended up affecting about 8 House of Representative seats in that state, including the 3 senatorial candidates on the platform of the People's Democratic Party who lost their election. And these are same set of people who you can call those people were unpicked by Seyi Makinde. So there's a lot of anger within people you consider quote and unquote his allies who felt that it was architect and of their misfortune by that singular action. So there is a lot of crisis within his own front, ability to not be able to to assure those people that there is still some form of future. Because if you, it's like a chessboard game. there are certain times you can sacrifice your pawns and the rest like that. But when you now start throwing away your knights and your brutes and every other part of the game, those people look at you and say, okay, what exactly are those people who are going to be able to protect you as the king on the distance? So that exactly is a major problem that he is facing. Now, by this analysis, you can make that mistake of assuming that, oh, everything is all perfect and everything is all rosy for the opposition. So the question is that will the entire misfortune that is actually befalling Sheyi, will it be totally on the side of Teslim Folarin, the former majority leader in the Senate, who is the candidate of the APC? Or will he be going to the side of Bayo Adelabu, who is the candidate of the Accord Party? So those are the critical questions now that you must look at now. Now, within the elites, there are persons who've already, shown interest to actually back Teslim, who are members of the People's Democratic Party. You have former Governor Rashid Ladoja, who has openly said it and said, okay, this is where we are going, riding on the anger against Sheyi Makinde. You have those people who actually backed Atiku, people like Akijide, Axim, Bolaromi, and those set of people who invested a lot of energy and resources into a former vice president Atiku Abubakar's dressing, and they felt that the reason why they lost in that manner was because Sheyi decided to play politics of national unity. Because when he appeared on a radio station and the question was put to him like, who did you vote? He said, I voted along, unity, fairness, and equity. So it has become some sort of how would I put it? It has become some sort of joke or comedy in Oyo State. When you ask people who are now opposed to Sheyi and say, who are you supporting? They will tell you, we are supporting unity, fairness, and equity, using that same phrase that I used against them. So, but the battle now will not be is that as outside Ibadan, where you have the major candidates being from, how are you able to do in places like Okeogun, and Ogbomoso axis? How are you able to get those voters there to be able to back you? Because no matter what you say about it, if you are able to avoid that particular sin that I've talked about, your ability to pay salaries and the rest like that, trust me, teachers and civil servants who make a large part of the voting bloc will continue to be on your side. So it's not going to be a race that you can just call at one off and say, oh, it's all over. The race is still very, very tight among, so it's now your ability to gather those non-partisan voters, people who are voting not because of party or anything, or those who are voting, based on their personal belief. So ability to mobilize that. And in as much as we try to minimize it nowadays, incumbency in any election is always a major factor because you have access to resources, access to logistics and the rest like that. So, like I said, 1 year ago, you could have said there's not going to be a contest, but as it stands now,
there is a contest.
There is a serious contest
in Oyo
happening
State.
in Oyo State.
I think in the case of Oyo, it's now looking like be careful what you say. Whatever you say will be used against you in the court of law, and that's what's happening in Oyo today. I fear that the phrase, the catchphrase, Oyo doesn't serve you twice, might also impede on continuity in government for Oyo State, especially if a government is delivering on certain. I mean, I think it's almost impossible to deliver 100% in the first 4 years because it's a lot of work to do across the state. And then if a government is delivering to a reasonable percentage, it's only fair that you allow them finish what they're doing. If the people, of course, are satisfied with the kind of work they are doing or they have done, and that's my only concern for Oyo State. But ultimately, I see that our democracy is progressing, and I love what I'm seeing. But unlike Oyo and Kwara, where it doesn't look like the opposition parties are coming together, in Ogun State, we see a different ballgame altogether. Labour Party and PDP looking like they're, breeding or grooming some romance to unseat Dakwa Abiodun today, and I'm wondering what you think about that too. Do you see that happening? Or, of course, like you said, the power of incumbency is a lot to challenge, not just in Nigeria but Africa as a whole. What do you see happening in Ogun State?
Ogun State, their own politics too is always along the senatorial division, and the only the only zone, senatorial zone, that has that legitimate clamor for power zone has always been Ogun West. And interestingly, sometime early January or December last year, former Governor Ibikunle Amosun, who is a member of the APC, openly declared support for the candidate of the ADC, Egbele, Otogbe. So openly, and say, okay, this is the person he's backing on the basis of equity, justice, that same pattern. So there's a consistency in capacity of Ibikunle Amosun to be able to do anti-party. He did it last year when he backed Akelade for under the APC. When he lost tickets, he moved to APM and he still backed him. So there is a serious politics of where I looked at it as some sort of potpourri. You may say, okay, Labour Party is backing, but what is the strength of Labour Party in a place like Ogun State? That determination, you may not see it there that much. So you are not going to be able to make a call on it totally, because if you look at the presidential election and the way APC has been able to restructure, particularly in their post-primary election, you see that everything looks to be working on their side. And interestingly, one part that I'm seeing developing there is that if you look at it very well, Senator Solomon Olamilekan, who represents Ogun West and Lagos West in the Senate currently right now, is the senator-elect for Ogun West. Is currently a member, a senator in Lagos, but he is not the senator-elect for Ogun West.
At what point do we draw the line between Lagos and Ogun?
It's hard. Either you take it from Owe, you take it from Agbado. Either way, you always have a reason to put one leg in Ogun and one leg in Lagos State. So I'm seeing that kind of politics where there may be some sort of trade-off. I said, look, for people in Ogun West who now have someone who has moved, from Lagos State into Ogun State now, who has been a close ally of the president-elect Bola Tinubu, who may be able to tell the people of Ogun State, Ogun West, and say, look, let us allow Dapo to complete his tenure, which is going to end by 2027. By then, we are going to make, a legitimate claim on a party that is going to be a ruling party. So I'm seeing that kind of politics going out there, because in the East, you have someone like Bengadena, a former governor, who is a senator-elect. So there will be that burden to be able to deliver. So Ogun State politics now is like a group of family members trying to sort things out, within themselves. But trust me, it's another state that you can, unless you are gazing at some crystal ball and say, okay, this is where it's going. But politically, it's a very, very sophisticated society. However, you've not seen that kind of Ibadan or your radicalism in voting pattern. Almost every single person in Ogun State, apart from Olusegun Oshoba, has been able to do 2 times. Bengadale do 2 times. The same thing with Bikule Ambosu. So I'm not seeing that radicalism on their part.
Thank you very much, Majid Bakari, for all the great analysis you brought. And I feel so educated and enlightened having had this conversation with you, from Kwara to Oyo to Ogun, and a little of Lagos, Ogun, where the bloodlines there, we can't even see them clearly. But thank you very much for joining us today. This is where we wrap up for this part of today's program. And we will be back by 3 p.m. when hopefully collation have started across the 28 states where the governorship elections is holding, and 36 states where the House of Assembly elections is holding. My name is Chiamaka Okafor, and this is Premium Times Election Special. Thank you.